The time is 5:30 p.m. Today is Monday, July 11th. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start the meeting with invocation by Mr. Anderson, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Lancaster. If I can have everyone please stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, first of all, we want to pray, Father, for those families who've lost loved ones, Father, in recent weeks, that you would comfort them as only you can. Father, we pray for the doctors and nurses that are treating those, Father, who were wounded, that you might guide and direct them, that they'd be able to take care of those issues as well. Father, we pray for the leaders here in America, that they would be able to guide us and direct us, Father, through all of this trouble, and that, Father, we might come out on the other side stronger for it. Father, we pray for the meeting tonight, that you would bless our local leaders, that you would guide and direct them. For we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We start with the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to existing policy or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members or individual personnel appeals are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address the council, please come forward, write your name and address for the record.
Mayor Ken Higdon, President of the Lamar County Chamber of Commerce, 8 West Plaza. Just want to remind everyone that this weekend we will be having the Tour de Paris. In conjunction with that, just be careful, watch for cyclists. They'll be out on the roads. We're actually going to have one group, I understand, unofficially start about 7 a.m., so they'll be out early, and the big start at 8. I want to also let people know that we are partnering this year with the Paris Arts Alliance. They are doing a balloon glow both Friday night and Saturday night, and hot air balloons will take off from behind the Civic Center around 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. There will also be a concert put on by the Blue Society on Friday and Saturday night. So lots of entertainment. It's a great partnership. We're seeing lots of hotel rooms being booked. It's a good win-win, and I hope all the citizens of Lamar County and the area will come out and support those events. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's nobody else wanting to address the council, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We move to the next agenda item, and that's the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any concerns or issues on the consent agenda? No one? I'll take a motion then.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the regular agenda, item number 11. Conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Mary Lou Coe for a change in zoning from single-family dwelling district number 2 to SF2 to a general retail GR on lot 11 block D of the T. Englewood Additions located at 2785 Hubbard Street. Mr. Efrasi?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have submitted to you an agenda item which addresses this project. I'll go right to the staff consideration. There are two options as we've identified. One would be, of course, to recommend approval. Staff does not support that, fundamentally because to do that would represent the three major components of spot zoning. One, an individual property would be set aside and addressed under certain privileged situations. Secondly, there's no public interest involved. And three, it's not consistent with the comprehensive plan. The second option is the recommendation for denial. That's what the staff recommends, as you can see. The reasons for that are the following. That area is characterized along Hubbard Street, both east and west of Collegiate, single-family residential substantial subdivision. Going south along Collegiate, the same situation occurs. Two, the future land use plan as well as existing zoning recommends low-density residential single-family use. And 3, while it may not occur, there's this likelihood. If the applicant changes his or her mind regarding putting in a small parking lot to support the restaurant, that is the fundamental purpose of this request, and certainly we're in favor of businesses, but not in this area. They, if they change their mind, can try to develop any of the permitted uses in the general retail zone. We think that further would undermine the tranquility and the single-family characterization of the subject property. We recommend denial. I'd be pleased to answer any questions that you might have.
Ms. Drake?
I don't have any questions. I just would like to say I've had numerous people in my district contact me about this, and they're all against it.
Mr. Frierson?
Alan, the vote with planning and zoning was denied?
Yes, there was a universal recommendation for denial, and as you all know, should the council wish to approve it, it has to be approved by a 3/4 majority, which is, of course, 6 people.
Okay,
So
Dr.
it was
Clifford?
unanimous and
sir?
unanimous disapproval at the planning?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay.
No questions?
I have no questions for you.
I think it ought to stay like it is, not commercial. It's more of a residential. So I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is welcome to come and address. Please please give your name and write your address for the record.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name's Al Thielman. My family has lived at 275 South Collegiate. In regard to the property in question, we're about 60 feet from it. My family moved into that property to our home at 275 South Collegiate Valentine's weekend in 1966, 50 years ago. That has been a residential area for 50 years. Talk about Hubbard Street. When our family moved there, look at me, I was 13. That's been a while. There were 4 houses on Hubbard Street headed east. That needs to continue to be a residential community and a residential area for the families that have lived there a long time. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much.
I'm Charles Ansley. I live at 2765 Hubbard Street. Please excuse this. I'm in the process of defeating cancer, and I would like to defeat this proposal as well as cancer. I've always been an advocate of private enterprise, but not at the cost of our neighbors' rights and the ability to live your life the way you planned it without someone building a big fence next door to you. I've already confronted these people. They are behind me. They've already run into my fence. I've had to have my fence repaired. I did it myself, but it was repaired. And this type of thing, I don't think we need that. And once you give a general retail, after the parking lot's gone and these people are gone, which they'd be the 5th in a row restaurants to go in that location, I don't know what would be there. So that's my contention. I feel like it's a cancer that will eat my neighborhood up, and we're not wanting that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ansley, thank you for coming. Best of luck in both of your endeavors.
My name is Cynthia Rhodes. I live at 2760 Culbertson Street with my husband James Rhodes, and we've lived there for 17 years, and we would hope that that would be the place where we've claimed it as a homestead, where we will stay and retire if everything works according to our plan. Last Tuesday, I came and spoke before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I ran out of my 2 minutes. So tonight, I said I was going to get straight to the point, and that's what I plan to do tonight. First of all, I think you've had our two neighbors speak tonight, and they've been great speakers. I think they've made some excellent points. Hubbard Street is a local street in the neighborhood, and we love our neighborhood, and we want to keep it like it is now. We feel like that this is not in the best interest of our neighborhood, and I have not met one neighbor at all that is in agreement with this. We feel like this invades our neighborhood, or will invade our neighborhood if this is passed and this is rezoned to retail. My main objective here is to read a petition of which most of the neighbors have looked at, and it says, from concerned citizens, it's regarding the change in zoning at 2785 Culbertson Street from residential to retail. We, the residents of this neighborhood, ask that you deny the request for a change in zoning for the property located at 2785 Hubbard Street from residential to retail. A change in zoning would create increased traffic in our neighborhood. It is difficult now to exit from Hubbard Street to Collegiate, especially during the school year, and adding a business extra retail would make it more difficult. There is insufficient parking for a business to be conducted at this location. It is difficult now to turn from Collegiate onto Hubbard when cars are parked in front of 2785 Hubbard. We are trying to retain Tanglewood Addition as a quiet and safe environment for our families. Once the door is open to allow businesses into a residential neighborhood, property values go down and a sense of neighborhood disappears. We request, please do not grant this request for rezoning. Respectfully submitted. And at the time we spoke at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting last Tuesday night, we had 15 signatures. Since then, we've doubled and we have right at 30 signatures. And so if you would accept this as an exhibit, or if you're interested in it, I'll be happy to leave it with you. But we have several of the neighbors here tonight, and you've heard from two. And so we just ask you to listen to our request, please.
Thank you. Anyone else wanting to speak?
Barry Holcomb, 2765 Culbertson. We moved back to Paris a couple of years ago. Johnson Woods, where I used to walk and run around as a kid, is where we decided to stay. There's people walking, they're walking their dogs. We've got an ice cream snow cone truck coming through, you know. All that will go away if this passes. Planning and Zoning Commission will need to put red lights, I guess, on every intersection, because you won't be able to get out on Collegiate anyway. And then when you think about whenever Crockett is in session, along with the restaurant and everything else, I just don't think it needs to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Deborah Cornett Ossery, and I live at 2745 Hubbard Street. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. And just like Mr. Thielman, but I'm a little bit younger, my family moved into the neighborhood where we lived in the house in 1969 between my 5th and 6th grade school year. We've had a proud, nice neighborhood. We have mixed where we have young couples, we have got elderly people, we have middle age, all up and down that. I live in my home place with my husband. Myself and another resident on that section are the only two that are still there since 1969, still there. My residence is 2 houses or 2 properties away to the west of the proposed property. I am in no way against the restaurant area or the progress that it makes. But I do think that we should not have a commercial lot on that corner. like somebody else has said before, I'm concerned that if things do change in the future, and I hope it doesn't for the success of the restaurant, what's going to come in next then? Since it's going to be commercial, it's going to be a liquor store come in. We don't need that in our neighborhood. We need still need to pertain to quietness, less trash, concern about our taxes going down, our values of our homes going down, and taxes going up. So please, I hope you do consider that you do deny this for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the ink pen is long, so I can't do it.
Anybody else wanting to speak?
Go ahead and leave it there. Thank you.
James Rhodes, I live at 2760 Culbertson, and the way it's working right now, we've got a straight buffer between retail and residential, and cutting out one little square there, it doesn't seem right to me, and I just think it's a bad idea.
Is there anybody else who wants to speak for or against? If there is nobody else, the public hearing is now closed. Based on the recommendations of the city and the P&Z and all the residents, I'd like to make a motion to not allow it.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there
Aye.
any further discussion about it? No. Motion carries. Item number 12, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on ordinance considering the petition of Brookshire's Grocery Company for a change in zoning from a general retail GR to a GR district with a specific use permit, 49 auto fuel sales on lot 1 through 19, City Block 104, located at 925 Clarksville. Mr. Efrasi.
Thank you. The basic zoning will not change on the Brookshire's property. The current zoning is retail for the entire property. The future land use plan shows all of the property except an extreme small northeast corner for office. Staff is recommending that it ultimately remain the same. It's a good planning principle if you have a one development, unless it's a planned development, that it maintain the same zoning district. As it is shown now, it's easier and more efficient to administer the individual zoning. Staff is recommending approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval. In Paris, as you know, a specific use permit requires a site plan. Site plan has been recommended with several conditions. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved those conditions with the approval of the rezoning on the final site plan. We submitted those conditions to you in writing, and last Friday, after the packet was submitted to you, we received a PDF file, and today we were supposed to receive full-scale plans. The staff has not had a chance to review those. But we heard from several representatives of Brookshire's that they're certainly willing to address all of the conditions that staff put in. We think it's a good use because it could add to the efficiency and marketability of Brookshire's and could add the opportunity in a controlled environment for folks who are shopping there to get automobile fuel, and even if they do not, and if that's the case, then it could instigate additional business to Brookshire's. Beyond that, we think we've recommended appropriate buffering and land use considerations, and we will address those prior to building permit. And again, representatives of Brookshire's are in support of this. Please to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions? No, thank you.
Thank you.
The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against is welcome to come and speak.
Yes, my name is Jim Fancher. I'm the 430 East Front Street, Tyler, Texas. I'm the Director of Store Design and Construction Management for Brookshire Grocery Company. Hopefully, I'm here to speak in favor of this, and I appreciate, Mr. Mayor, council, and city staff, your cooperation, and P&Z. I want to reaffirm that we are committed to bringing to the stipulations that the city staff has and P&Z commented to their satisfaction as part of this commitment for the company. I'm authorized to do that. I hope we're well established in this community as a business partner, been here for quite a while. And this fuel center is one of the offerings that we've been trying to bring, but we just haven't had the ability to have the land for it where we were. But this other property came up for purchase and we've been able to acquire it. So I would be glad to answer any questions you might have, but I'm here to represent the company.
Thank you. Anyone has any questions? No. Thank you very much. Based on the P&Z recommendation in city, I'd make a recommendation to approve.
Second.
All in
Is
favor?
the public hearing closed?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Anybody else wanting to speak for or against? No. Public hearing is now.
I'm happy to keep it rolling too, man. That's all. That's fine. Just making sure.
Don't have to go back.
Okay, I'll make the motion again.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed. Motion carried. Item number 14. No, I'm sorry, item number 13. Receive bids, discuss and act on a contract with the lowest responsible bidder for services related to grubbing, clearing, grinding, removal of brush of all foreign debris, stumps and all vegetations within this designated drainage channels within the city limits. Mr. Godwin.
Mayor and Council, this project was advertised in the newspaper twice. We had a number of companies of various sizes, two large, very large national firms that picked up bid packets. In the end, we received 3 bids. One of those, the low bid, was from Ray's Tree Service for $150 per hour for a 4-person crew. They are prepared to have as many as 4 crews out there starting tomorrow, assuming we approve the bid tonight, and we recommend approval so they can get to work.
Anyone has any questions?
I have one question, Mr. Godwin. As they're cleaning these drainage ditches, is there going to be anything sprayed to help try to keep some of this brush from coming back?
There will be, and in fact, we've already sprayed a number of ditches. Some of them you'll start to see browning out already, and we'll continue to do that too because, well, obviously it needs to be taken care of.
And will we at some point have a list of what drainage
You
ditches?
will. We prepared a list about a week and a half ago. We've actually tried to put that on a map because it's a lot easier to follow that way than just a list of hundreds of addresses. And I thought we would have that today, but I'll email it to you probably tomorrow or the next day. But it should be done any minute now.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? No. I have one question. In your report, you had said there'll be 4 crews.
Right.
How many people? 4 people in each crew?
Correct.
Is there any possibility of increasing the
Yes,
number
in
of-
fact, he expects to have more starting as soon as next week.
Okay.
So we want to have more than 4, absolutely, as many as we can.
Okay, and we'll distribute them throughout the city
Yes.
stages.
What we're going to do, starting with the first 4 crews, we'll have one each of the 4 quadrants so that there's work going on in all 4 parts of the city.
Mm-hmm.
But as you look at those maps, it'll probably make a little more sense too. But the more crews, the better. If at any point, we mentioned this 2 weeks ago, if at any point they don't have enough crews available, they can't keep enough in the field, we can always go to a subsequent vendor as well to supplement those forces.
Okay.
And I just would like to say something. I've been noticing all of the work that's being done out on Collegiate, and it's looking good.
We're getting there. It's
Yeah.
great to have FAD funding.
I don't want the city to always think that we're, you know.
I appreciate
And
it.
I really appreciate the hard work that's going on out there.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve this bid.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Motion carries. Item number 14, discuss and act on amending the bylaws of the Paris Economic Development Corporation with regards to council approval of expenditure. Mr. Trinado, you put it on the agenda.
Yes, sir. And what I'm asking is that after the Paris Economic Development Corporation's yearly operating
Mr.
budget.
Trinado, can you bring the mic a little closer?
Okay. I'll talk low enough. Okay, how's that? Is that better?
Much better.
Okay, what I'm asking is that after the Paris Economic Development Corporation's yearly operating budget has been approved, that any other expenditures or purchases must be approved by the Paris City Council. And the reason being that I feel like is the Paris City Council and the Paris Economical Development will team together to make Paris a greater city for the future generations. And that's it.
Ms. Lancaster?
I think that the city council certainly should be involved with expenditures. I mean, we've got a lot of things facing our city, and we really need to be careful with what we do with our money. And we want economic development, but we certainly have to look at the whole picture. And that's why I think the city council needs to be involved.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions for you.
Dr. Clifford?
Well, I'm in favor of this as well. I think the law is pretty clear that it was intended, at least, that the city council oversee any economic development corporation. And that's just makes common sense to make sure the money's spent wisely. This will put an additional safeguard on this money and to make sure that everybody's in agreement. It'll also allow us to put together packages where we don't have conflicting information. We're offering the abatements and the incentives in a complete package. But anyway, I'm very much in favor of this. I think this is something we need to do.
Mr. Frierson?
I guess I need to be elementary about this. Walk me through this again. So they've got their budget. We approve the budget. So you want to take any deal that they may have on the table, regardless of size, to come before the city council for approval?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but we appoint the board. Shouldn't we trust the board to make decisions?
I agree, but I think we should work together as a team. We could, put our heads together and get this solved so we can go forward, make a better city.
Yeah, okay, get what solved? Because I guess I'm struggling on what we're not working together with now.
Well, it seems I hear a lot of stuff, and I know you do too.
No, not anymore.
Okay, then you're the only one. But anyway,
we went through 4 years of this, so I'm a little bit curious.
Okay, yeah, I know you have, but I want to see us work together. And that's basically what it is. I know I'm new on here, but that's one of my goals is let's do it together for the city of Paris and the citizens.
So as far as Dr. Clifford's point about control and making sure deals are done correctly, Dr. Hoshman, you can probably chime in. You and I were on the council at the same time. When the change was made or an agreement was actually made, Doug Wehrman and Steve Gilbert were involved with the PEDC, and we as a council went before and came together to form the agreement for $400,000 as kind of the barometer when that group had the ability to be flexible, a little bit more mobile than maybe we would. We put sort of the threshold in there, if I'm correct, Dr. Hoshmi, that they could mobilize a little bit faster and get their group together rather than waiting on our meetings every 2 weeks. So, same theory, you're just trying to bump the threshold down to any project.
Can I read something from the handbook, the Texas Municipal League Economic Development Handbook? Quote, "The city shall approve all programs and expenditures of the development corporation." Unquote. That's what, we're the outlier. We're the outlier if we're not doing that.
Okay. Can we have Mr. Paris come up, and since that's his actual responsibility, to comment on that?
You'll let Leon speak for him.
I'd like to go ahead and hear him, and then I'll make some comments.
I mean, I just think in all fairness.
Since you asked me the question, let me answer. Yes, the answer to what you said is true. I don't have any strong feelings, but I think if they feel more comfortable, if people feel more comfortable that it should be approved by the city, I'll go along with it. But I'd also like to hear what Mr. Paris or the PEDC board members want to say, more than gladly.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Michael Paris. I'm the Executive Director for the Paris Economic Development Corporation. I live at 3445 Meadow Place in Paris, Texas. Mr. Tornado, you brought up a very good point, and that good point is that we need to be working together, both the PEDC and the City Council. My question to you at the moment is, where have we not done that here probably in the last 6 months that I've been here? Because, let me let me clarify. I'm looking forward to your answer. But on the other spectrum, Mr. Clifford brings up a very good point, is that the city council does approve all expenditures and all budgets. And I really sense that there are two lines of understanding and two lines in which you're looking at trying to bring some controls and checks and balances to the way the PEDC works, and also as the community of Paris tries to expand businesses as well as attract businesses. Anyway, back to the question I have is, what exactly have we not worked together on in the last 6 months?
I think we ought to go back what the state says, is that the city council, that's just what I believe now, will get the final okay, or we work together to come to an agreement. And I think that we ought to be involved in it.
And where was that final okay not allowed?
Well, I'm just here. I mean, what I found out and looking, but I think it's just a rule that needs to be in there. Because if I read these right, the city council, and you showed me a flow chart, city council, Paris City Council, and PEDC, and then your officers under it. That tells me right there.
Can I interrupt for just a thing? Dr. Clifford, that thing that you're reading, where is this from?
It's from the Texas Municipal League Economic Development Handbook. It kind of translates the law into layman's language so that you can understand the intent of the law. And this is given out, it's available online in a lot of places.
And I would suggest that you're correct, Dr. Clifford. When the PEDC or any economic development corporation in Texas that is 4A aligned submits a budget, and that budget encompasses all aspects of the way operational expenditures.
But this specifically states not just the budget. Of course, we have to approve the budget.
Sure.
But this also states that we have to approve any other expenditure. That's what it says. But we're not, and we should be.
You're agreeing to overseeing those expenditures because you've already put a threshold of $400,000 on those projects.
I kind of think $400,000 is a lot of money.
It is.
To not be able to not have to not have to get council approval for $400,000. That's kind of. But regardless of the amount of the money, the law. Again, read the handbook. It says we are supposed to approve everything.
According to the 300 chapter of the Economic Development Code, the Texas Legislative Code, the formality of policies and procedures, that is your oversight to the 4A board, is through those policies and procedures. And when you set those policies and procedures, the Economic Development Corporation does work in that caliber.
And I'm proposing that, I think that what we're talking about doing here is changing those policies and procedures to get a little bit more oversight on the situation.
And I would ask you to consider the indirect impact that you're going to have in the community, not constricting those policies and procedures. Economic development in the community is based on the inclusion of everybody in the community to help in the economic development process. And when you do that, you're including the business community as well. Also, you're also encompassing the expediency in which a project needs to be done. If you set up a process where there are many steps and many layers to going through a project, sometimes that will hinder the process in which somebody can move forward with a project. But at the same time, you're looking at an avenue which, if you get the business community and the business owners and the people involved with a PEDC board and their networks help you expand businesses as well as attract businesses, and yet you cut the ability for them to make decisions within a certain capacity in which they can make decisions, then you're eliminating the full capacity in which you go about trying to expand businesses and grow businesses within Paris.
So you're saying the 72 hours it takes to require a council meeting is too big of a burden?
I'm saying the business community who understands business aspects can move rather quickly and can move within the refinement and the policies and procedures that you give them.
Well, Sherman has a lot of success in economic development, and I looked up their board bylaws, and not only they have 2 council members on the PEDC. We don't even allow a council member on the PEDC, and we don't allow them on it for a year after they get off the council. Sherman insists on having 2 of them on at all times. quote, this is off of their bylaws, expenditures may be used for the purposes of financing or otherwise providing one or more projects. The specific expenditures shall be described in a resolution or order of the board and shall be made only after the approval thereof of the council. All other proposed expenditures shall be made in accordance with and shall be set forth in the annual budget. Approval or advice of the council to the extent that these refer to the approval by the city. Such advice and counsel shall be evidenced by a certified copy of a resolution, order, or motion duly adopted by the council. This is what Sherman does. They're our neighbor. They have a lot of success. I see no reason, and they're following the recommendations of the state law.
And their turnover is quite high as well with their
I
economic
understand.
development professionals.
So we're the outlier here. We're not the ones that don't have council approval of expenditures.
May I comment on that? And I understand everybody has their own temperature for this thing, and for somebody that there was a 3-line agenda item, you sure have a lot of research, so that's cool. But if $400,000 isn't the number, I mean, I get, more oversight, but from my perspective, you're constricting things in the sense that you're creating more government. If you're looking at a business deal, you're making it more political in a sense. So, well, you don't have to agree with it. It's just my opinion. But I do agree that, everybody wants to be on the up and up. And I do agree that every city does things differently. Frankly, I couldn't tell you 3 things that Sherman's done great. Maybe you can, but and they probably are out there. But I do think we need to be aware that in the sense of you can create such a bottleneck or the perception of a bottleneck that a business is deterred from coming here because they don't want to be involved in a political game. And I think we need to be aware of that.
And that's my point, is that I don't want to alienate the business community to get involved in economic development.
I mean, does it need to be no control? Absolutely not. Do I think it needs to be full control? I frankly don't. Is $400,000 the number that everybody's comfortable with? It apparently isn't the case. But I do know that when we went through this the last time, Dr. Oshman and I were in the room, and that's what the council said. So our intent was never to not follow the law as much as it was that was the comfort level that was at that time. And I do think that there is somewhere in between a happy medium, and we don't need to be all or nothing. I
think we do. I think we follow the state law.
Don't even give me that. Nobody's
ask you-
violated a state law.
I didn't say we violated. I just think we need to follow.
For Pete's sake.
Can I ask 2 questions for my clarification? I want to hear both sides. If there was no limit, or if, let's say there was a total limit on you, does it hinder your work? And that's the question to you. And my question to Mr. Trinado, or you put it on the agenda, or Dr. Clifford, whoever is supporting it, if you have the 400,000 limit, is there an issue with it? So explain to me, how does it, if they put a limit on it, how does it hinder your progress? In simple words, is it just that you need a council approval, or is it more than that? Because I suppose what I'm saying is your budget is approved, and so your regular day-to-day activities would not be affected. Is that correct or incorrect?
Our budget is approved, and also the monies that are in the 4A and that are disencumbered are available as well. According to our bylaws, we have a threshold of $400,000. To answer your question, it becomes a hindrance when you're dealing with a prospect, or like right now, I'm working with a company and who's looking at for an expansion project on a different matter. But their first question is, what's the temperament of how we go through the process with PEDC and City Council? And there are so many nuances and such that we have to go through. And that's one of the reasons that I started attending, or tried to start attending, some of the City Council meetings, and also give you a preview during executive session as the different projects that we have going on that we have a date. Because I agree with you, Mr. Tornado, we need to be working together. But I think the first aspect of that is communication, not so much constriction. But to answer your question, it's delaying the process and putting more government controls.
Okay. And what is the answer to that question, if I may? Do you feel there is more government control over it? Or, I'm not clear. Is that, if it's the state law, it's the state law. I'm not disputing that. If it's not the state law, do you feel his argument is well taken, that it creates a hindrance, or what is the feeling?
And
Do we
according to
have,
the, I'm sorry.
okay, I know Mr. Clifford, you said that, Dr. Clifford, that you said that Sherman doesn't do that. Do we have any other knowledge of PEDCs comparable to us that do or does not? And Ms. Harris, do you know if this is something that, do you know if this is something that we need to be doing or
Well, I've
not
been
doing?
looking at this since this came up last week. The statutory section simply says the corporation's authorizing unit will approve all programs and expenditures of a corporation. It doesn't define what that is. I think the economic handbook provision that talks about approving projects doesn't have a citation to it. I actually spoke with Jeff Moore, who's one of the authors of that handbook, and in the consensus of the people that I've talked to, there are no interpreting cases or Attorney General's opinions that I or anybody else that I've talked to are aware of. And the consensus is that the way our bylaws are set up are within that law, because, again, this is not defined. But they're all over the place on how people do it. I'm aware of a city that at one point had control of every check. And before too long, they amended their bylaws because they were getting bottlenecked on everything. Nobody wanted to do business with them. There are various levels of control, whether you bring each project in front of the council or whether there's a limitation of amount of money like we have, whatever amount that is everybody's comfort level. But there are different ways to ensure the governing body's control over the expenditures. Did I answer your question?
I think so. Thank you.
I would encourage, if the concern is collaboration and working together, then let's open those doors, because Paris has too much to offer to have a funnel of leads that's totally empty. We need to be working together. We need to have more access to each other as we continue with that process. I need to come to your executive meetings, give you updates to what we can and we need to make public. But at the same time, you're a liaison to the PEDC. You're going to be down there to all of our meetings, unless you're sick, you can't be there. But at least my cell phone's available if you need to contact me. If there's a question of doubt as to how a project's being done, call me. Let's work through this. And that's what's fundamentally interesting about this, is that you brought this to the agenda, but yet we haven't talked about what concerns you do have. Because I want to help you through those concerns, and I want to help you meet you halfway with those concerns that you have available. But I understand the Texas Municipal Code, and I apologize, I'm not keen on that code, but in reading the local government code for 4A, the Chapter 500 codes, I do not see where the City Council approves every expenditure, but you do approve the 4A funds, and the City Council has done that, and you do approve our budget. And as long as we're keeping that lines of communication open, I would say give that a chance first. And that's the reason I asked in the beginning, what are we talking about? What happened? Where did the mistrust take place? Because if there really is not any evidence yet, allow this process to work. And if there's a point of mistrust, then let's work through it together. And then if there's concern, then I would encourage those limitations. But right now, I really sense there's an element of trust that's taking place in this community. And maybe if we just keep those lines of communication open, we can work diligently, especially with the liaison on the council. We have a new PEDC member by the name of Derek Hughes. He's going to be involved in our process. Derek and Billy came to my orientation. Richard Manning, Chairman Manning, and I sat down and visited with them as to what we're trying to do. So it's reaching out to each other and it's keeping those lines of communication, because at the end of the day, Paris has a lot to offer to our existing businesses, and Paris has a lot to offer to attracting a business here. But we're so wound up with concerns that we forget what the purpose of the EDC is supposed to do.
Can I interrupt?
I'm sorry.
Is it a question of mistrust? Because I really didn't hear mistrust. I'm hearing one person talking about what the legal issue is, the other person talking about a different issue of working together. Is there mistrust? Is that what?
That's my assumption, because it's brought up and that oversight needs to take place. Because legally, I think we have not broken the law. And at the same time, if your concern, Mr. Tornado, is about working together, I think we're well on that path of doing that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and that's really there. We need to work together, and I believe, openness, so the citizens will know what's happening with their money. And, everybody knows that things have happened in the past.
Absolutely.
Let's get away from that, and let's all move forward. That's all I want to do. We can all.
And that's the reason our meetings are open. And we do make sure that we do allow for public access to those meetings. You came to our last meeting and made your points very clear. And I think my board professionally and tactfully responded to your answers. Do you maybe agree with all of them? Maybe, maybe not. But do we all agree with each other on everything? No. But again, I think our focus, what we need to put in front of us, is the betterment of Paris. And I'm concerned that we're not doing that when we do this. But absolutely.
Mr. Higdon, did you want to say something?
I don't really have a dog in this fight, but I do want to just bring out one quick point. The autonomy of a PDC is very, very important. If you as a council, in all due respect to the media that's sitting here, want to approve every expenditure, then that becomes public record. And I have been in a situation where my community in a former chamber was the benefactor of a city council that operated in that way. There was a plant that did not go to their town that went to my town because it was revealed to the citizens through the media that plant was looking at their community. So I just want to, real quickly, there are two sides of that.
Can't those be an executive?
And so balance is important.
Can't those be an executive meeting, though? But if we're having a discussion of a potential business coming here,
I think
can't
that's
those be an
a
executive?
record situation that the city attorney and the city manager needs to. But if you approve it, it's no longer an executive session. It's public record, is my understanding. So I just want to bring that point out. Again, that's a whole different story, but it's one that I think is important. Because too many of these corporations, when they're looking at a site, want autonomy. They don't want everybody to know their business. And it's very, very important that you guys realize that while you're making this decision. Thank you.
Anybody has any further question? Okay, Mr. Perez again. Yeah.
Is there any questions that I can answer? Thank you.
So how does the council want to proceed? It's your item, but let's start with Ms. Drake.
Well, I don't think I was on the council previously when this was actually the bylaw. I mean, it was on, I don't remember if I was on there. I remember it being the $400,000. I would like to see the council and PEDC working together. One of the things that I liked that Mr. Paris, I just went blank for a minute, I don't know why, said was, and of course, this is just the first couple of months of me being back on the council, of maybe having more executive reports from you in executive session as to some updates as to what's going on. I know at one time that used to happen, and I liked that. So that we would sort of know what y'all got in the works. I think that would be at least one step forward. Because I think it's very important that the council and PDC work together and be on the same page. As far as the $400,000 on any one project, if people aren't keen on that amount, maybe that might be one thing we might look at. I just have to do some thinking on this.
Okay.
From all the things I've heard tonight.
Okay, Mr. Frierson?
I frankly would like to think that the answer is somewhere in between. I don't begrudge the the thought process. I think that whenever Dr. Oshman and I got on the council, the pendulum was completely the other way, and we worked together with the leadership to identify a level that was comfortable for the council and the thresholds that were set. I think that happened through communication. I think that's what was kind of agreed on, and that's kind of how it came to be. Was somebody had the idea of, hey, maybe it's just not, I'm not comfortable with it, and we should know more about what was happening, and that's kind of what was agreed upon. I feel like to take it back to a project by project, frankly, I think would be swinging the pendulum completely the other way. And I do know that they, in my opinion, if time is sometimes of the essence, that's one piece of the puzzle. But for Mr. Paris and his board, they, in my opinion, it's just like anything else. People need to be confident in the subject they're speaking on. And he knows clearly today that here's my size and scope of project. I'm not necessarily having to go, for lack of a better term, go kiss the ring every time I need something. The customer, the client, needs confidence that he's the guy that's going to put the deal together. And if his parameters are that, then to me that dollar amount indicates the ability, his level of importance and his ability to have authorization to do things, whereas taking it back to every single decision, I think puts the onus back on the council, and that can get political, that can get time consuming, and frankly that creates uncertainty, and that's not what you're as a prospect looking for in a business deal. So if we're talking about working together and we're talking about what makes me feel better, what makes me feel sleep better at night, is that number $250,000? Is that number $300,000? I don't know what everybody's number is. I just think that to go from what it is today to a really finite all or nothing sort of thing, I just don't know that that's the best way forward. I think we appoint the board members and we should have trust in them. And if there's an issue, they should be bringing those up or bring those to our attention at that point. I don't think it's our responsibility to have a separate organization that we have to micromanage all the time. And I don't know if that was kind of the focal point of what you're looking at, Billy, but I mean, I think Michael has done a good job in his time here in coming to executive session, and I know we can regularly schedule those to give updates. But, I guess I would hope that there's somewhere in between that everybody can kind of feel comfortable instead of, it just feels like more government, more micromanaging to me personally.
Well, micromanaging wasn't, I didn't want to do that. That wasn't the thing. I wanted us to get together, I want us to talk, so we know what he's on his mind.
Mr. Trinado, can you speak closer?
If we're going to go like an executive session and he fills in what's happening, so that we'll all be, we know what's happening that way, is that we hear these rumors and this and that and things like that, but everybody's got their say-so. But I want us all to get together. That basically is my point right there.
Yeah. Well, actually something that I've thought of, and maybe this is...
Can I just go line and then I'll give you time to speak again. Okay. Finish what you're saying, Mr. Frierson.
No, the only thing I was going to say was that somewhere along the lines, maybe it's a good idea, we all have committee appointments, that if we kind of rotate out at a council meeting, everybody kind of gives an update on the status of their committee, so that the rest of the council is informed, whatever rotating schedule that is, but so you would know what's happening on historic preservation, or you know what's happening on the airport, instead of waiting on a presentation. Just a thought.
Dr. Clifford.
Just a brief statement. As elected members of the Paris City Council, it is our duty and our responsibility to be certain that all tax dollars are wisely spent. We should not, and indeed we cannot, abdicate this responsibility. All tax dollars need to be spent wisely, and it's imperative that we maintain control over the expenditures of the PEDC. This will place an additional safeguard on the tax dollars that are paid for by the citizens of Paris. Additionally, it will allow the City Council to better coordinate the incentive and abatement packages that might be offered to potential new companies so that conflicting messages can be avoided. It's obvious that the bylaws need to be changed to make them clearly in compliance with at least the intent of the state law, and also to be certain that our tax dollars are spent wisely.
Mr. Trinado, your turn.
That's it.
That's it. Mr. Jenkins?
Well, of course, I'd like to see Mr. Parrish do his job and everything, and everybody have good points and everything. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, things came up in the past, but, you know, I mean, if we look around, we see new faces now. So I just want to make sure we do what's right for Paris.
Ms. Lancaster?
Well, two things jump out at me. One of them, of course, is to follow the law. We have to, as a council, follow what our directives are. Two, you cannot be too diligent on taxpayer money. I'm sorry. If the budget is approved for them to use, so we're not micromanaging their telephone or that day to day. But when you come in and spend a much larger amount of money, monies are limited in our city. We have to be careful how we spend them, and I'm just for keeping a close watch on it.
Okay. My thoughts on this are the following. Number one, when the $400,000 limit had come in, there had been two things. And Mr. Frierson would remember, Skinner was coming into town, and at that point, PEDC had made a guarantee, which we all got concerned about. It was about $1.2 million, etc. And what ended up happening that PEDC took the guarantee back at that time. Liberty National Bank gave the guarantee, and that is when we had our meeting of deciding and coming up with the $400,000 number. I personally don't care what number it is. I think if we are sure that that is the state law, then we should follow the law. If it is not the state law, then we can make whatever rules we are comfortable with. As far as I'm concerned, close working relationship is very important, whether it's one organization or the other organization. As far as requiring time, I mean, I know you mentioned 72 hours. I don't really think if there's an urgent issue, we can meet sooner, we can meet later, it doesn't matter. But I think a close working relationship and a happier relationship between both PEDC and the council is important. And it's not just being about happy, it's about following the law. So I want to be sure that if that is the law, I'm going to support it. If it is not the law, then I think we should think about it and see, is this something we want to do or we don't want to do. So I would like a little guidance that, is this the law that we have to follow? I mean, is this a state law that you have to approve all of these expenditures? And if it is the law, then it is not a question of whether I like it or I don't like it. If that's the law, that's the law.
Well, what I found in the last few days is there's no interpretation of what that statute says about what the degree of control over expenditures has to be.
Okay. So in other words, it doesn't require, you have to have an oversight, but you can make your own rules? Is that what you're saying? I mean, say it in simple words so that...
Yes, I mean, and that's what EDCs all over the state have done, and there are different ways of doing that. But there's nothing that I have found, or any of the lawyers that I've talked to in the last few days have found, that say this is exactly how this oversight has to be done. There's no interpretation of what this law says, so people are free to make their own interpretations until there is.
So I'd like to ask, Mr. Trinado, it's your agenda item. How do you want to proceed with it? Do you decide, and then we'll whoever wants to make a motion on this can make a motion?
Well,
I think we've discussed it, and unless there's any of the board members want to say anything, anybody else wants to say anything? No.
Dr. Hashmi?
Yeah.
If there's going to be a change in the bylaws, that has to pass by a resolution supported by at least 5 yes votes to do that.
All right.
And I would suggest, if you're going to change the bylaws, that we put together some bylaws in order to have something before you vote on bylaws.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to,
go ahead.
If you want to talk about working together and changing bylaws, shouldn't the board have a voice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, if we're really talking about collaboration, I think that's a piece of the puzzle that's, they deserve some input. We appointed them.
Well, how do you want to proceed? Who wants to proceed? And Mr. Trinado, you want to proceed on this? I mean, Robert Clifford, let's move somewhere.
I just want, if it's a state law, I got that it's not, it's just your interpretation, is that right?
Well, and I've read you exactly what that law says. It says The corporation's authorizing unit will approve all programs and expenditures of a corporation. And what I'm saying is that there hasn't been a court case or an attorney general's opinion that says what that means and exactly the degree of control you have to exercise. So, you know, the people I've talked to Jeff Moore, who wrote the handbook. I've talked to a TML lawyer, and they believe that what we're doing is within the state law. That doesn't mean that you can't change it to get some more oversight. What I'm saying is I don't think that our bylaws at this time are out of compliance with state law.
So do you want to proceed by sitting down and rediscussing the law or bylaws and then coming back, or do you want, what do you want to do?
Well, I've got good points over tonight. I learned a lot tonight. I tell you, I think everybody else did too, you know. The problem is.
I missed it completely.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I think we'll agree. I agree that the discussions were really great tonight, and I've learned a lot. And I think we'll just go ahead and proceed the way that we are now.
Just leave it as
I'll
is.
just drop it or whatever.
Leave it the way it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
So you want to make the motion to leave it as it is?
Yes,
So
sir.
we have to have a motion for that?
If you're
Well,
not-
I mean,
I'd like to make a motion that we amend the bylaws.
1 second. If there is a motion on the floor, it has to be voted on first.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I'm sorry.
first of all, do you need a motion on this? It says discuss
you're-
and act. You need a
but-
motion on this.
Oh, but you're right. If he was making a motion, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies.
I forgot. Can you read it back or something to me?
Yes. What is your motion?
My motion is just to continue the way that we are. I've learned a lot tonight, and I think that if we cooperate and everybody understands what we're going to do for it, what we want to do, I'll go for that.
Okay. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I have to think. I have to really think on this. My personal feeling on this is if the attorney is telling us that it needs to be brought back after discussion, then that's what it should be. So I will vote, your motion is to, no, I'll vote against it because I would, let's finish the motion and then we'll have discuss. I'll vote against.
Can I get some clarification?
Yes.
She didn't tell us that.
No, she said that
No.
you cannot vote on this because she just said that you cannot.
What did she say?
I think I may have been unclear on that. What I meant was if you were going to change the bylaws,
Oh, if you're going to
I
change-
think it would be a better practice to come up with what you want to vote on and have those before people before they vote on them, instead of voting on a change tonight that we don't have bylaws to look at.
Okay. All right. So your motion is to leave it the way it is.
Well, I just like what she just said, to have a motion, bring it back and let's study it. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is you only need to bring it back if you want to change them. If you don't want to change them, you don't have to bring it back.
Okay. So your motion is to leave it the way it is. It's seconded by Mr. Frierson.
Yep.
All in favor? Okay. What's that? Okay, so the motion carries. All right. Item number 15 is convened into executive session pursuant to 551074 of Texas Government Code. The time is now 6:35 p.m., 6:33 p.m., and we'll go into executive session. 51 p.m., we are out of the executive session. What was discussed in the executive session was the relationship between the City Council and the Economic Development Council. No action was taken. Item number 17 is consider approve future events for the city. Anything else? No. Item number 18.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. That is